Vietnam has one of the fastest growing and most dynamic economies in Southeast Asia. With its sights set on being a modern industrialised nation by 2020, this is a place which is carrying out structural reforms and embracing new ways of doing things. Helping to guide her country on that journey is New Zealand-educated Tran Thi Lan Huong. An expert in governance at the World Bank here in Hanoi, Huong is focused on promoting transparency and accountability to help fight corruption. And she credits her New Zealand education with giving her the grounding for being able to do this. Tran Thi Lan Huong, it's very nice to meet you. Thanks for talking to us today. You went to New Zealand to study in 2004. You did a Masters in Development at Victoria University. How was the New Zealand education experience for you?
It was really a life-changing experience to me. I didn't think of New Zealand, but then one of my best friends who came back from New Zealand, and then she told me great memories, fond memories and experience she had in New Zealand. And then that got me to look for actually not only about New Zealand but also studying abroad. And it really made me to really look and search for a scholarship to New Zealand, to study in New Zealand. So I applied for an NZ, New Zealand Aid scholarship at that time. So I got the scholarship and then I went to New Zealand.
And the experience changed your life. Can you explain why?
It changed a lot in many ways. So when I studied in my undergraduate education in Vietnam, we were taught with many new things, but the way we were taught and the way we learned is so much different from the way the learning that I acquired in New Zealand. Particularly, so I still remember the first day I came to New Zealand to Victoria University of Wellington. Then we had the orientation day where we were told about how we study in New Zealand and especially how to learn how to think critically. And also to really try to learn new things and to explore things, to study by ourselves.
So questioning hadn't so much been a part of your education in the past?
Not, I would say, not so much in my undergraduate. So it's more I would say it's in those days really old way of learning. So it's one way, and we were, Vietnamese is in a very highly hierarchical society. So in many ways, in my days, study in schools in Vietnam, challenging teachers would not be something that I would feel comfortable doing that.
How does that benefit you as a student, being able to think critically and ask lots of questions?
I think it changed a lot. There are so many answers to one question, and it's just that from my own experience before coming to New Zealand, then we always thought that there was just not too many options for one question or too many answers, and really it opened up my eyes, and also I get exposed to many ways of seeing the issues and seeing the problems in many ways, and then really helped me in going through the studies, but also reflecting on the issues and problems in my own country.
You worked at the Finnish Embassy working on improving human rights here in Vietnam, and you've also now worked with the World Bank for 6 years. Can you tell us a little bit about your work and how your New Zealand education experience helped equip you for what you do now?
So after coming back from New Zealand, I resumed working for the Finnish Embassy, and at that time, so there was also a big movement about climate change and how harmful climate change would affect countries, especially like Vietnam. So we had a small grant program that support people to change behaviors, but also awareness to an environmental issue and climate change. And New Zealand was a great example of green practices and also environmental friendly behaviors that I brought back from New Zealand, and it really changed. But also at the Finnish Embassy, we were As part of the small grant program, we also worked on improving women's life, also improved lives of marginalized people at the Finnish embassy, and so supporting the life of marginalized groups. And now with the work at the World Bank here, I'm working also not so much specifically about human rights, but then really improving good governance, promoting transparency and accountability, supporting the government to improve their institutions, our institution to have better governance, to serve the citizens better, and also to have more effective public agency.
And your development training in New Zealand was very relevant to all that, was it?
I think it's very relevant. I studied development studies. It's a broad subject, and I can say that everything that I learned in New Zealand, I still apply it every day in my work, and expand also using the critical thinking skill that I acquired in the university to bring it back to my work and also in every of the work that I'm doing in Vietnam.
What are some of the more memorable things about New Zealand for you?
I came to New Zealand. I left my family behind, my husband and my son. It was really a hard time for me separating my family and to go to study in New Zealand, a faraway country from Vietnam. And then I came, I was really welcomed by the school, the university, but then also the New Zealand community, the people. So the school has the QE connection program, where I was connected with a young couple in New Zealand. So every weekend they took me out to different places in Wellington, but also places nearby, and really introduced me about how people live in New Zealand, the society, and then the places, and it really helped me a lot.
Here you were such a long way from home, and as you said, without your husband and son, but you were always made to feel welcome.
Yes, always. So I was also brought to the different social activities at the church, and also I was introduced to meet with other families, New Zealand families, and New Zealanders are really warm and hospitable people. It was really, it made me feel home.
It's really great to hear what a successful experience you had there in New Zealand. Huong, thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much. It's really a great experience, and I will keep talking about that with my friends, with my family, and with whomever. It's a life-changing experience for me. So, yeah, thank you.